C-Bus.
For our final fix of the day, we're looking at the front beds again, and over here you can see this one's got a little shorty head, and it's not tall enough to get up over this retaining wall. You know, I don't know, maybe the blocks weren't put there when the sprinkler head was first put in or what, but basically in this situation we're going to put a taller head in. So it probably has a 6 or an 8 inch a small sprinkler head, and we're going to put in a 12-inch larger sprinkler head. So let's get to it. I'll show you the third way that you can raise up a sprinkler head if they're not high enough or not spraying properly. Okay, so there's not a lot of choice in this one. We're going to replace the small head for the big head, so we just have to dig to the bottom. So we've got to the bottom of the spray head where it connects, and just as anticipated, there's a swing line on here. It looks like actually that swing line's leaking right there. Now I may have hit that with the shovel, but I wasn't digging that hard. So we're going to have to cut that swing line off right in that spot where it's leaking. In this situation, it doesn't matter too much because we're going to have to cut that line anyway. I'll show you why here in just 1 second. Oh, secondly, before I even do that, I'm going to keep digging because obviously this is a small 4-inch riser sprinkler head. So we're going to replace it with a 12-inch sprinkler head. So of course I'm going to have to dig down quite a few more inches to make space for that sprinkler head. So let me show you how this gets in there. Okay, so I've dug it out of the hole. I've dug down there approximately 18 inches or so, just so we get the right height for the new sprinkler head to fit right down in there and be lined up on approximately with the side port. So if we take a look at these, you can see that's the original one and how it was connected. And you can see the line feeds in with the threaded piece into the bottom. This is sort of a medium-sized one, but here we want the maximum height. So I'm going to go ahead and use the long one. They come with a plug right here, and that plug you can use either in the side or in the bottom, depending on where you're connecting the line in. In this situation, we're going to run the line in the side so we don't have to run the line all the way down to the bottom like that. We use the existing line and run into the side. So we're going to use a straight connector port like this. And also what's important is that we're going to put this port in to the side piece before we actually connect it, because once we get it in to the pipe over here, this barb fitting goes into the pipe like that. Once we get it into the pipe like that, we would not be able to rotate that long sprinkler head enough to tighten it. So we're going to put it in here first, and then we'll connect it all together. So let's get to it real quick, and I'll show you how we do that. First of all, we're just going to take this and run it in there. I want to make sure it's snug enough, so I'm going to give it a couple little twists with the pliers. There we go. Now I don't have the head or the nozzle in here yet, but when we're done, we'll just take this one out and reuse it into there. Now, these barb fittings are really tight and they don't push in easy. So the best way to do it is get your sprinkler head where you want it to be. Notice I've dug it out enough to give me a lot of slack to flex it in the proper direction. So I'm going to take my little mini torch. I'm just going to heat this up for a minute. Oops. That's about all it takes. And then while it's warm, I'm going to flex it the right direction and slide this guy right in there. Now, it's connected, and that's all we need. We don't need a clasp or anything on these. On the bigger lines, you would use a metal clasp, but on these we don't. So then we're just going to position this head where we want it, pretty much straight up and down. and we're going to try to rebury it the best we can. I like to look at these at a couple different angles while I'm burying them, and when I get them about half buried, I inspect it to see if it's straight up and down. We want to make sure we get it pretty close. As I bury it, I also pack it the best I can into the hole. It looks decent. If anything, I'd rather it be angling back and up instead of down into the ground. So now that I've got it halfway buried, I'm actually going to change this tip. I'm going to start it up and take a look at it before I bury it completely. Okay, so now we see it spraying over. I'll relocate this sign. Now you can't see it spraying over. Tip needs adjusted just a little bit. You can see the tip is spraying a little bit crooked. So I might try to clean that or possibly replace it so it sprays in a more even pattern. Other than that, we've got the head replaced, and now we're just going to bury it, and now it sprays over top, can water the rest of the landscape beds. So while I replace this, hopefully that's helped you. And if you're trying to raise some sprinkler heads up for one reason or another, you can either use a riser, 2 different style risers, or you can use a taller head, spray head, and actually do that yourself. It's really not that tough of a repair. Just takes getting a little bit of messy, some digging, and some know-how. So subscribe to my channel, keep watching. I'm going to show you all kinds of tips about other sort of landscape stuff. Thanks for watching.